All right, so welcome to today's class. Julius, I just like to do in the beginning of the class, I always like to just check up with everybody that's in the room, see how they feeling, how was their week. So I'm gonna ask you, how was your week? I'm gonna recap mine first. So this week we worked on, as far as in the shop, we worked on organization, as far as getting ourselves in the tech world. It's a messy world. We got a lot of parts and components and screws, stuff like that come with us taking apart, putting stuff back together. So what I found is regularly we got to take a day where we not really working and we just kind of collecting items and reorganizing, making it easy for us down the road. So that's what we did this week in the shop. Try to focus on that, and that's gonna be like a regular thing. It's not gonna be something that we just did this week and then we're gonna let it fall apart. So it's constant upkeeping of supplies, materials, and inventory. So that was pretty much what we focused on in here this week. So you give me like a 1 minute summary of how your week went. Was it good? Was it bad? Did you have any success stories to share? If you tried any repair work, anything like that? And then we're going to dive into this PowerPoint presentation.
Shoot, man. Basically, I was just for me, man. I just basically went over the OS reload. Just did that a couple times, man. Shit, made sure I was familiar with it and made sure I was able to jive like do it, run through it smoothly, man.
How'd that go?
It went cool. I tried it on three different computers. It went good. I had one computer where I had to
Swap out the drive.
Yeah, it was a network drive. I wasn't getting no Wi-Fi signal, so I wouldn't got the drive, and it came out straight though.
All right, cool. Did you get to watch the videos on that too? The driver video?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, cool. All right, bet. So today we're doing hard drives. Probably know a little bit about hard drives already. I'm trying to figure out which one of these screens. You can see my share screen now. Can you see the presentation screen?
Not yet. It's coming. Yeah, I see it right now.
All right, bet. All right, so today's is hard drives. We're going to talk about what is a hard drive, what are the various types to identify, because we see that all computers going to have a hard drive, but they vary, and every computer is going to vary. Newer computers might have what they call a solid state drive or an M2 solid state, and older computers will have like a traditional drive. You had some IDE drives back in the day, which they don't use anymore, but they're different types, and I want you to be able to identify them. So we're going to run through this presentation and kind of get more familiar with it if you're not already. And then we're going to get into, some diagnosis on them and how to diagnose them, how to know when it's time to change one, and things like that. So you got the IDE hard drive, you got a SATA hard drive, you have solid state, which is also a SATA. You have the M2 or the NVMe. I got a drawer over here. I should have a few different variations of them in it. Show you. So traditionally, we have what you see right here, the regular hard drive. And it comes with these SATA connections right here on the back, which is like gold contacts, which slides into either a hard drive connector or it slides mainly into the connector on the board. And this is how all the information that is on the computer is stored on this drive. But they've created different variations of them. So you got some that look like this, which is just like a thin chip. And whereas you got some that look like this, which is like a big thick box. So you got, and these are your M2s or your NVMEs, these thin ones right here. These are faster. They're 10 times faster, and they're found in your newer computers. They're also found in a lot of the newer model MacBooks. So that's how we identify them. We're going to go through and just break down how a hard drive works. Here's some pictures down the bottom. If you couldn't see my camera screen, here's some pictures of the different hard drives down the bottom. So like you said, we got the regular hard drive here, the SATA. Actually, this is an IDE if we're looking at this picture, because I see the needles. So this will be an IDE, but the SATA looks exactly the same. Only difference is the IDE has these needles down here where it connects into the motherboard, and the SATA, they replaced it with these pins that come on like a plastic card. So that's the difference. The SATA is newer. They just slide in these two little connections. This side is for power. This side is for information. So that's how you know if you ever had to like wire one of these up on some wiring tip, then this side will be the power, meaning the power supply will connect here, and your SATA cable that goes into the motherboard will connect here. All right, we got Bria in the building too. So that's how that looks. Now, the way they function, I always break this down kind of like back in the day, a CD player or a record player. So when you're looking at this old school drive, the way they work, you have a disc spinning on the inside, and then this spindle here is made out of magnets. You got two magnets, one on the top, one on the bottom, right? And then you have this acculator axis with a slider head on it at the tip. That tip is just like if you took a record player, put a record on it, and put that needle on the record player and had it spinning, it's going to play the music. Well, that's how the hard drive works. It's the same technology. Well, my PowerPoint moved. It's the same technology in the hard drive in the computer. And the way we make money off of this a lot of times is because people don't turn on it off their computers when they're not using them. So what happens is, say I'm using this laptop right here, right? And I'm using it, and then I decide I'm done using it. I close it instead of actually shutting down the operating system and powering it off completely. I just close it, which puts it in a sleep or a hibernation mode. Then I take this and slide it in a book bag, and I carry it around, and I'm moving around, and I might set it down on the ground, and then I pick it back up, set the book bag somewhere else. All the while this disc is spinning, that needle is on top of the disc and is scratching the disc. So then over time, what happens is you turn on the computer, it's running slower. Eventually it might start popping up with error messages. Eventually it might not even boot to the OS, or it might take even longer to boot to the OS. But this is the main reason why a lot of people with these traditional hard drives end up having to get these replaced almost on a 2-year basis. Is because they don't like to turn off their computer. They feel like if they just close it, let it go to sleep, and open it back up, they could get back to where they were at faster. They also are lazy. They don't like saving documents, which only takes 30 seconds extra. Then they can shut the stuff down. So they leave all their programs running. They leave all these tabs open, and then their computer is constantly working while they are carrying it around and toting it. And then they damage their hard drive, and then we make money off of it. So that's the beauty of the traditional hard drive being in most computers. But a lot of these companies know that that was the case and is the case. So they created these solid state drives. These solid state drives have no moving parts. So it doesn't require power from the computer to get a disk to spin and all of that, which takes time and energy out of the computer. So these end up allowing the computer to run faster. They run about 10 times faster for the fact that it takes less energy to power these particular hard drives. All right. So, and then down the bottom, we have pictured. I'm just going to break down these pictures real quick before I move to the next slide. This is also a SSD hard drives, look like the traditional, but it's SSD because they created it with a body frame like this with the chip inside. So that's how they ended up doing it, but it allows it to fit in the traditional slots that the computers have. The newer ones they made with these NVMEs or the M2s, they are already fit to that slot that you see these gold pins on. That's where those slots will slide into the computer or into the hard drive connector. They're already fit for this, so they don't need the housing like this, which is the similar housing to the traditional hard drives. So that is why they do that. All right, let's get into the procedure of changing out a hard drive. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to talk you through the procedure. At the end of the PowerPoint, we're going to all just sit down and take our practice laptops out and actually access the hard drive, pull it out one time. So the procedure for this is quite simple. We identify the location of the hard drive. So when I do this, I normally would flip the laptop upside down because that's how you're going to identify the location. So on this particular laptop, there is no doors or any doors that you can open up, but older laptops, sometimes they'll come with slot doors, either on the side or smaller doors in the middle. This one doesn't, so we know that the location of the hard drive is underneath the bottom lid cover on this one. So we know we're gonna have to take the bottom lid cover off. So then after that, whoa, moving too fast. Then after that, we're gonna identify the hard drive, and we already know what the hard drives look like, because I just showed you guys. And how is it secured in a laptop? Sometimes they're secured with brackets. Sometimes they're not secured at all. So we want to identify how is it secured so we can go about removing the screws if we have to remove them, or if we need to slide a clamp apart or anything like that. We're going to identify that. Then we're going to remove the hard drive. The hard drive always is going to be connected to a connector as pictured. So if you look in these pictures, you'll see the left hand on this picture is on the connector. The right hand is holding the hard drive, and they're just sliding it apart. On this one, the connector is here. No one's touching it, and he's just holding the hard drive. So we're going to separate it from this connector. And then sometimes, like I said, they'll have caddies. See if I got anything in here with a caddy all the way around it. But a caddy is just pretty much an extra layer of housing around the hard drive with screws that allows it to be clamped down. So sometimes they'll have caddies. This particular picture up top, if you look on the sides of the hard drive, you'll see this metal where it's a hole for a screw to go in. That's considered a caddy. So that metal right there is not actually a part of the hard drive. That's part of the caddy. And the caddy, just like I said, it allows it to, screw will go through there and allow it to be clamped down so that it's not moving around inside the computer. Because like I told you, the more this moves around, the better chances that this is going to get damaged and you're going to be having to replace it anyway. So you definitely want to secure the hard drive in place. So we're going to remove it from the caddy, and that's it. And then you're putting a new one in. So you're doing it in reverse. Now, the reasons for this repair, or sometimes we got people that come in and they do it, and we have to do this procedure just because they got 500 gigs of hard drive space, but they realize they need a terabyte or 1,000 gigs. Some of them, they decide they want to upgrade from a traditional to an SSD because they know that it's going to speed up their computer. So there's a few different reasons for the upgrade. We're going to run through these reasons. Also, like I said, hard drives go bad. So that's the #1 reason why we end up doing this repair. People come in, like I said, their computers aren't being shut down properly. They're not using them correctly, and they end up having a bad hard drive down the road. It's not enough space. Like I just told you, some people have 500 gigs. They need a terabyte. And like I said, last but not least, they want to go to an SSD. So how do we determine if a hard drive is bad? Like, so if a customer comes in, oh my God, the computer's running slow. We look over the operating system. We don't see any malware. We don't see any spyware. We don't see any applications that look weird and running in the background that they probably don't need. So now what we would do is we would hold down the Alt-Control-Delete button, right? And it'll come up with the task manager. And this is what the task manager looks like on the screen right here. The task manager is like your heart monitor for your computer. So like when you go to the doctor, they hook you up to all these different things, these machines. One is monitoring your heart rate. One might be monitoring your blood pressure. One might be monitoring something else, right? Well, the computer has the same tools to monitor its components that allow its heart to beat and function properly. So you'll have this task manager, and the task manager will allow you to see how much memory you're using with all the programs that you got open. It'll allow you to see how hard, I'm bad at clicking on this mouse and it changes my slide, so sorry about that, y'all. But it allows you to see the hard drive and how hard your hard drive is working to perform whatever task you're doing at the time. It'll allow you to see your internet and how it's working. It'll also allow you sometimes to see the GPU if you have a graphic card in it, and how much weight you're putting on that with the task that you're doing. So this is how you see how much weight and how hard your computer's working to do whatever you're doing. So in the event that a customer will walk in the store or to you at your repair stand or wherever you're at, right? And they say, hey, I don't know why my computer's running slow. And we get to the point where we have to pull up the task manager. We're looking at the C or the D, because those are our hard drives in this picture. So if you look at the C and the D, this is the hard drive, and we don't want it to be running at 100%. We do not want it to be running at 100%. 100% means that the computer is working very hard. This particular part of the computer is working very, very hard to do whatever it is you're trying to do. And a lot of times you ain't doing nothing. I get a lot of people where I just turned the computer on and that's all I did. And I'll go to the task manager and it's running at 100%. I'll be like, well, damn, I didn't even open up a web browser. I didn't open up any music programs. I didn't open up nothing. So by the time I do open up something and you're already running at 100%, it's going to freeze up, basically. You know what I mean? It's going to lock up. It's going to let you know that this hard drive is locking the computer up and it needs to be replaced. So that's the way I go in to check it. So like I said, use the task manager to monitor activity. You hold down Control Alt Delete, run the hard, or you can run a hard drive diagnostics tool, which I use a boot disk called hirencd.org. So if you're looking at the bottom of this slide right here, you want to take notes of this, because you're going to go to this website and get you a copy of this. This software is free. It's a diagnostic tool that I use to change passwords on Windows computers. I also use it to run diagnostics on certain machines just to see if the hard drives are any good. They have a hard drive tool, and the tool that you see down here in the bottom of the screen that I got my mouse over, that's one of the hard drive tools. And what it does is it scans every sector on the hard drive to see if you have any bad sectors. And then if it's a bad sector, that block will be red. So if you see during this scan right here, you got 2 bad sectors, 2 bad blocks. Typically, that's not going to make you run super slow, but it can affect the speed of the computer just by having 2 bad sectors. 2 bad sectors will slow down your computer. All right, so we're going to find out if you guys can actually get inside your computers and open up and access the hard drive. I'm going to do one as well. I'm going to do one on in front of you guys. I see Julius already dived in. He was like, I ain't waiting. So, as you're doing it, you're going to see this only take like 15 to 20 minutes to do. In my shop, a 250 gigabyte hard drive replacement, part and labor, we charge 150 bucks. So that's why when I tell you guys, I'm going to show you how to make $150 in less than an hour. Most people can't make that at their job in an hour. I'm going to show you how to make it in less than an hour. It ain't no capping. We're going to do it right now. So I'm going to grab my screwdrivers and go to work with you. Where is my screwdriver? So I'm using something else. So, what you got over there, Dell? Yep, Dell. So on yours, look on the bottom. You might have a slot right in the area of here that you can slide out like this. Yep. So you don't have to take out the bottom plate on that. On your left or right hand side, down the lower part of the computer, you should have a door that you could just, oh, there you go. That's your hard drive right there. $150, you just did it. Bria, where you at? You got your camera today?
I'm still in the car.
It's all good. You gonna have homework tonight.
Yeah. I'm gonna upload the video of me doing everything later.
All right, cool. So yeah, Julius already pulled his hard drive out, but you could go ahead and take your bottom off if you want, just so you can see the anatomy of that machine. But it's that easy. Now yours has a caddy attached to it, of course, so you would have to remove that caddy if you was to put a new a new hard drive in, and it's 2 screws on that hard drive holding that caddy onto it. Now the computer I'm working on is a little more newer, and sometimes they'll have these little plastic pieces right here. I don't know if y'all can see that. Sometimes they'll hide screws under here and under these rubber feet on these newer models. So what I do sometimes is grab some tweezers. There is tweezers. And just pluck these up if they can come up. And voila, I located another screw right here. So it's probably one under here too. So when you're doing these, you just want to know where your hitting screws are at, because I've had people pluck and pull and scratch and still can't get the computers apart because they're not looking for those hitting screws. All right, so those 2 are hidden. I'm gonna check this one out too, just to see. Nope, no screw under there. And I'm gonna assume we got them all, right? I'm assuming we got them all. So now that I got all the screws out, you can get a guitar pick. Julius already got another Joan he got. You can get a guitar pick and start picking around the edges of the computer till you can get a gap. Once I find a gap, then I'll start to separate the top from the bottom. We got a gap, and I just run my pick around the gap. So if y'all, I'm not sure if y'all can see my camera, but I'm just running this pick around the gap to get separation from the top and the bottom of the laptop. And now I got access. Once I access, a lot of times on these models, you'll have the keyboard ribbons. This is the keyboard ribbons and the trackpad ribbons. So you'll have to lift up a clip and remove these ribbons in order to separate. But once you got that, you got it out. Now that we out, I'm pretty sure you can see where the hard drive is, right? It's right here. So my hard drive's here. We got the connector here. And now, like I said, part of the procedure is finding out where the clamps are or what's the procedure in removing it. See, he has a caddy on his hard drive in the top left corner of Julius. So he slid his out. Mine's, I have some screws to remove before I can actually pull mine's out. Mine's has a caddy too. They'll all be different, but they'll be similar. The process is going to be pretty much the same thing. Quick, easy. A lot of people don't know how to do it though, or know anything about this particular part to even go in to do it. So That's how you get your money. So now I took it out. I still have this connector connected to it. So this is the hard drive connector here. Has a ribbon that snaps right back into the board here. Hard drives out. We got the caddy still attached because you see I have this metal right here that I can screw it down and secure it with. So then all we would do is just take the screws out. If it screws on the side, this one actually just, it snaps apart. So we can snap this apart, put a new hard drive in, and then go about installing a new hard drive. Once you've installed a new hard drive, typically this hard drive is going to be blank, meaning no operating systems installed on it. So then your next step would be class number 1, which is putting the OS on it. Putting the OS on it. I got my hard drive back in. Put these screws back in to secure it so it's not moving around. Put those back in. On this particular model, like I said, you got these ribbons, which are the keyboard and the trackpad ribbons. So you always, when I install these back, I always tip it up one way or another so I can see under and put these ribbons back into place. So I tip it up and snap my ribbons back down. I don't know if you can hear the snapping of the laptop, but that's common. And you want to hear those snaps so that way you know that the clamps are back in place. You got your laptop back in place, your hard drive installed. Now, typically me personally, and it's just a tech tip, to Cherry Mike can tell you the same thing, but I don't put my screws in right away. I don't go in putting all the screws back in until one, I turn the computer on and know that I didn't install a good working hard drive and that the computer is recognizing the hard drive. That way I don't have to go back through the whole process all over again of taking the screws out. But in less than 15 minutes, $150 repair at minimum. Sometimes we'll end up doing this at higher prices based upon the size of the hard drive that we're replacing. But very easy task, very simple task, very common task in the business. All right, so do anybody have any questions about the repair or the process? From the diagnostics part, well, I see Julius did it twice already. He a pro. Julius did it twice. I know Brie ain't gonna have no problems. Bobby from my old class, y'all see Cool J up there at the top. And to Cherry, this is one of my good friends that I pick his brain a lot of times. He's a long-time technician.
Hey, so how would you determine if you got open up your computer, or you know what I'm saying, it was simple like mine, where it slid out the side, or had just like a door you just opened up?
So look, usually the doors have, if you look at it, let's put your camera on the bottom where the doors are at. Now this particular one, if you see any doors, you already know the size of the hard drive. So you can kind of put 2 and 2 together and be like, this might be the door for a hard drive. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
We know that the hard drive is typically about a 2.5 inch size. And they normally they'll have them near your trackpad area. Never up on the higher parts by the battery, always down by the bottom lower section. That's normally where they're gonna be located at. So when you see a door that size down that side, it's kind of like, all right, let's try this first before we go and take 50,000 screws out You know what I'm saying? Ain't
Yeah.
gonna take you but two seconds to pop that joint out and see. But on your
Yeah.
other computer, let's put that one down there. All of those doors on those models that I've worked on,
Yeah.
they have little drawings on them. I can't see them on it.
So this, with the hard drive was, you got like these little discs.
Yeah, so it's like 3 little discs as a picture stacked on top of each other.
Yeah.
That's the picture icon for hard drive.
I got you. This right here be your RAM.
RAM, yep.
With my battery.
Yep.
Got it.
So they had those pictures on them a lot of times, and that'll let you know which door you want to open. That door right there by the RAM, I can see the picture. It almost looks like a picture of some RAM.
Yeah.
So if you look at RAM, it got that same look like this on it. So when you pop that door open, you know that's your RAM door. So a lot of the older models, they do that with. These newer models, I guess it would look ugly if they did that. So they just put this unified lid on it, or they call it a unibody. They put these on it, and once you take that off, everything is there. Yeah. Now, cheat code. I normally don't give y'all this cheat code to like a later class, but I'll give it to y'all this class, right? Let me pull it up first. So when in doubt, and it's okay to be in doubt, it doesn't take the professionalism away from you. When in doubt, use this website right here. It's called iFixit. You can go right up here to repair guides. And I use it mainly with Apple products, but if you got a PC or the PC laptop, find your make, your model, and then it'll have a guide step by step. I'm gonna just pull up a guide of a random computer just so you can see how these guides be looking. But they'll give you a step-by-step guide. All right, this one didn't have a guide, I guess. Let's go back. Apple, they got a guide for everything. Let's try this Aspire. I knew they was gonna have they got so many different models of this joint. They don't have a guide for this. I'm about to say we going back to Apple. So like say you had to do a motherboard or a hard drive right here, right? On this model, but you was in doubt. This website, one, will tell you how difficult it is, how many steps it's going to take, how many minutes or hours it could take you to do the process. And then you just go through and it's picture by picture, slide here. It's very remedial. Like, you know what I'm saying? Anybody could do it. It's telling you step by step, the whole process of doing so in picture and word format. It also, what I like about it, it tells you the tools you need and the size. So like if you're reading, it'll tell you the screws are 3/8 in length and have a 1/4 head. Like it tells you everything is so detailed that it's hard to miss with this. So I do use this, especially when it comes to newer MacBooks. So like when I get customers coming in here and they got a Mac, laptop, MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, I pick out what I want or what I'm working on, 13-inch Retina, and then it give you up to 2020. You know what I'm saying? Like it's giving you up to the latest and the greatest. And then it'll tell you how hard it is. So like say you had to do trackpad. It's gonna take 25 to 40 minutes. And I use this also as a way to figure out how to not put my foot in my mouth when I'm pricing a repair, because say it's something you never done before and you in your head, you like, man, I normally can do these in 15 minutes, but this is a different one. And this one could take 40 minutes. So now you know, so when you pricing it, and they be like, how much for the labor? You can get an idea. Average rate for a tech repair labor on a small shop like mine's or mom and pop is $75 an hour. That's what we charge for labor, $75 an hour. So because this doesn't hit a whole hour, we still hitting you for the whole hour though. You know what I'm saying? We don't do half-hour jobs. Everything is an hour at the minimum, whether it takes 30 or 30 minutes to an hour. We always got to equate for if something else arises down the road in that repair that we might have to go back in, take it apart because something was loose or something, you know what I'm saying? Or you forgot to connect the cable or something like that back, and the backlight ain't lighting up on the keyboard. Anything can happen. So just stick with your hour. Don't short yourself, because 75 is still going to be a good number when you comparing it to best. I wish Julio was on here today too, because I was talking to Julio this week, and he did 2 OS reloads this week already, right? For customers. One of them in which went to Best Buy, and Best Buy was trying to charge them $300 to do the OS reload. So he already then got $150 of his bread back just doing them 2 OS reloads after the first week's class. So that is pretty much the wrap for today's class. I don't be trying to hold y'all long. I try to give y'all the sauce, give it to you quick, fast, and then open it up for questions. If y'all don't got no questions, I'm gonna give y'all some work to get prepared for next week, which we gonna do. I did this week kind of out of order. I normally do the screen repair class the second week, but we ended up doing hard drive, and I felt like it was a smoother transition because we just learned the OS reload, so they kind of go back to like together with each other. So next week is gonna be next week we're gonna be doing the screen repair, so we're gonna be taking out the screens of these laptops, putting them back in. Because what we're gonna do is basically go over the 4 highest used repairs in the business. This is pretty much the 4 repairs that most people gonna come to you for. And then after that, once you learn the anatomy, everything else kind of comes hand to hand. You know what I'm saying? Because you'll know all the other components. They'll be easier to diagnose with the methods that we use just to diagnose those 4 repairs. So you're gonna just take off from there for real, for real. And we're gonna be learning more about business, how to make flyers, how to market yourself online. Did any of y'all catch the Never Lose formula joint, that video? Bobby, did you catch it?
Yes, I did. You know I did.
Because it's definitely for my graduate classes already. You know what I'm saying? That video, I mean, it's for everybody, but for the graduate classes, the people who already went through everything already, that is pretty much the process, your day-to-day process of, you know what I'm saying, building up your e-waste business for real is, you know what I'm saying, those 4 steps. Buy a bunch of e-waste, start hitting these auctions, buying shit, and stop being worried about losing. You know what I'm saying? Like, is this gonna be a dud? Am I gonna be able to fix it up? Because like I said, it's a scrap side and a repair side. And I told y'all first class, Bobby class, I told y'all how, like, I think Brian, it was somebody in that class that bought a MacBook as a project for like $40. And I was telling them how, like, bro, even if you can't fix it up, you could take each key off of it and sell it for $2 to $4 on eBay. It's like, I think we counted, it's like 80 keys on the jump. So you do the math. You know what I'm saying? You pay $40 for it. You got 80 keys you could sell for $2 to $4. Are you going to lose on this or not? You're not going to lose. And there's other components we could pull off of it and also scrap and make money off of it. So it's a never lose strategy. And then I'm going to show you how you can go about selling it, where you're going to sell your scrap at, where you're going to sell your repaired items at. All right. Any questions, y'all?
Yeah, hey, hey, look, so when you look into purchase like used, you know what I'm saying, laptops or whatever, what you stay away from?
All right. That's a great question, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That's the first time I got hit with that question. And that's a great question. So what do I stay away from? So I have answered this question, but nobody's phrased it like that. So I always if I'm buying on eBay, I'm looking for something that says boot to BIOS.
Boot to BIOS.
You wanted to at least boot the BIOS. That lets you know your motherboard is functioning properly, because it's giving you a BIOS screen that you can go through and see the specs and all that information. What do I stay away from other than boot? If it don't boot the BIOS, I'm staying away from it. If the screen is damaged, I'm gonna see, how much that screen costs, because screens can cost you anywhere from they can be expensive depending on the computer. So I've seen screens go anywhere from $50 to $1,000. So you want to stay away from them just for the mere fact that you don't want to be on the $1,000 side of having just the part alone. You know what I'm saying? It's $1,000. So you want to stay away from those. RAM issues, they easy. Hard drive issues, very easy. So pretty much the screen and BIOS, and if it don't boot the BIOS, because BIOS is motherboard and screen, those are your two most expensive parts. So if you don't have to replace those two, it's a good buy. If you got to replace one of the two, it makes it a more riskier buy.
Okay.
Yep. But everything else is good to go. And like I said, sometimes you might take a hit where you get a jump and it boot the BIOS, but something on the board is bad, like the hard drive connector. So no matter, it boot the BIOS in all day, but as soon as you plug a hard drive up, it won't read none of the hard drive. You done tried 10 hard drive. I've had that happen before. You know what I'm saying? But I could still resell that joint. You know what I'm saying? I could still list it on eBay and somebody else would take a chance with it, just like I did. So, but those are the indicators that let you know, you know what I'm saying, that you got a decent buy. The BIOS, it boot the BIOS and the screens ain't showing no indication that it's bad. You got a good screen, you got a good motherboard. Now you just, you know what I'm saying, hard drive or RAM, it could be your only arch nemesis, but those you're gonna be able to replace at lower cost and still be in your profit margins.
Good.
Yeah. Bobby ain't on here no more. Normally Bobby hop up here when she got questions. Bria, you got any questions? Oh, she trying to get back in. That's what it is.
No, I'm good right now.
All right. Bobby, you got any questions? Bobby V, you got any questions? Bobby.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Oh, I said I was just being nosy just to see if you were doing anything that was new.
You know, I might throw some new information in these classes every once in a while.
Right. So this means I got to be on point.
I know. But nah, that's it this week. We're doing screens next week. You know, the last two classes when I jumped more into Apple stuff and more business oriented stuff. So those are the two classes you probably want to jump in and catch some new information. Tachuri, you got anything you want to say? Everybody wants you to introduce y'all to Tachuri. Tachuri is like a good guy that if you guys got any questions deep into this repair stuff that I might not be able to answer, Tachuri definitely can answer. He also gets his hands on a lot of e-waste that he be selling. So y'all might can DM him if y'all interested in buying some products, because Tachuri be having a lot of different stuff sometimes too. Just like me.
Like you said, my name is Ticheri. I try. It's not easy, but there's a lot of money to be making, so that's for sure. And one thing very quick, I noticed great thing about the hard drive repair. Like he said, the first thing is that you always want to book for an hour. Don't try to do 15 minutes, don't try to do 20 minutes, because you never know.
You never know. You might end up having to replace that joint twice.
That's true. You have some laptop that takes you like only 30 minutes to take everything apart. But it's so complicated. So you don't want to be like, oh, it's going to take 20 minutes. Always charge 1 hour. That's the first thing I wanted to say. The second thing is that every time you have to deal with hard drive, remember, it's about magnetism. You have to remove the battery first. Always remove the battery. Don't try nothing without removing the battery, because remember, the battery is connected, meaning that the power is going through the laptop. So you want to take the battery off first, and then you can deal with the hard drive. So that should be like a tip that you can write down somewhere. Think about it, because I saw stuff happening with those batteries. Like you just remove the hard drive, and next thing you know, the hard drive looking at you like, I'm not working no more. And the customer be like, just put everything back like it was. I don't want nothing no more. And that's
Yeah.
a big issue. So guys, be safe, remove the battery. And other than that, like he said, it's easy job, you know, it's easy job. I think Julius asked how to figure out where was the hard drive. Like he said, he only gave you every answer. Just look at the bottom of a laptop. And usually if you don't see no opening on the side, usually you have to take the bottom off. But some laptop, just look at the side. You don't always see like some opening. And they sometimes they will have like an icon or some rating, say HDD or something. So that's how you figure out. But some of them, you're gonna have to try this. It doesn't work. Try this. It's like those Panasonic. You know those Panasonic laptop. Oh, you gotta try this. It doesn't work. Try this. It doesn't work. Sometimes the hard drive is on the back of it.
Mhm.
So that's what I was trying to say, guys. And that this is a very, very good class. Like I was telling him the last time we met, I said, guys, people just don't know the amount of knowledge you are giving them, guys. They don't just know because there's no school teaching those practical things. Every time you want somebody to teach you how to remove hard drive, how to change, how to reload, you have to pay a lot of money, and they won't even do it. They won't even do it. So, guys, I really encourage you to do your homework. Like he said, like you have your laptop, try to remove, put back, switch hard drives. You know, try to figure out, okay, this doesn't work. Let me try this. So just hands-on and practice. That's how you become good at it.
Mhm.
The rest, like he said, if you have any question, usually at this time I'm at work, but today I was free, so I said, okay, let me kind of show up and say hi to everybody, and that's all.
I appreciate you jumping in here to Cherry for real, for real. Because to Cherry, man, he's very humble. He's been doing this stuff for a long time, long time. So, and he's seen how much money come through, and I don't think he probably even thinking about doing nothing outside of this.
Yeah, there's a lot of money. Trust me, there's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money in this game. Yeah. And as you can see, he African, so y'all know it's a whole nother game in shipping products to different countries and how much they pay. I'm trying to tell you, it's a lot of money in this business, y'all. So y'all gotta definitely tap in and open your network up, because once you got in, you ain't gonna be looking at nothing else outside of this, to be honest, doing anything else. So that wraps up this class, y'all. Homework for tonight, or I mean this week, is we doing screen repair. So it's a screen repair video already posted in the group. Just search for it, watch that joint. It's not long. And if y'all want to practice, you can. Bria, your homework this week is actually taking out a hard drive, doing a video of you pulling it out and putting it back in. You can do a speed ramp on your phone. If you got iPhone, you can just do speed ramp and just do the whole process. Or if you want to do one of them long videos, it's up to you. Or if you want to do a TikTok reel or any of that, I'm cool with it. We just want to see it. Because I don't like moving. Like I said, there's no man left behind in the class. So I don't like moving on to something else until I know everybody in the group is on the same page, so that we're not leaving nobody behind. All right, that's it, y'all. See y'all next Saturday. If y'all got any questions after this, just drop them in the chat in the group, and we'll get to them when we can get to them. All right, y'all. Peace.
Thank you. Have a good one.
No problem.